Hi, America. Today I wanted to talk about something different. When I started this channel, I just wanted to kind of talk to Black people about politics and who they should or should not vote for. And of course, then I wanted to address some relationship stuff. But my main goal was to bring attention to white supremacist terrorism. To me, that is the biggest problem, not only with the Black community, but um, a global issue. So um, I've been pretty upfront about my ex-husband being white and my son being biracial. And so I'm usually never going to like answer comments and stuff, but I think this one is pretty big to me because it's something that um, has been bothering me for a while, and that is I've gotten comments saying that because my ex-husband is white, that I cannot speak on white supremacy. So to me, that doesn't make any sense. And then I've also got comments saying, since my son is biracial, I can't speak on white supremacy. And because of the tone of my voice, I was told I sound like a valley girl. And so because of that, I cannot speak on white supremacy. To me, that seems insane. Just like completely insane. I don't care if you're orange, pink, white, gray, or whatever color. You can speak on white supremacy being a problem. White supremacy is our problem. It's everybody's problem. It's global terrorism. So for people to want to point out, well, this person isn't dark enough, or this person doesn't have the right um, voice tone, or this person has, a white husband or a white friend, so they can't speak on white supremacy, that's asinine. It's asinine. And for people who think like that, you really need to roll it back some. Just roll it back, stop, and think about what you're saying. Do you really think that these white supremacist terrorists are worried about what shade of brown someone is? They don't care if you're white, if you're black, they're terrorists. They have an agenda. Their agenda is to maintain white supremacy through terrorism. And if you have time to sit around worrying about the tone of someone's voice, or who they are married to, or who they were married to, then there's a problem. Because we are on the front line and you're sitting there worrying about who my ex-husband was. That doesn't make any sense. Who cares if my ex-husband's white? What does that have to do with anything? When these rogue terrorist white supremacist cops are shooting people in the streets, what does my ex-husband have to do with that? Like, why do you care about that? When we're dividing each other, that's what white supremacists want us to do. They don't have to do anything. They can just sit back and know that we will never have unity. And without unity, we will stay exactly where we are, being terrorized on a constant basis, being segregated. If this is what you want to pass on to the next generation, then you go ahead and sit there and focus on who's hanging out with who, on whether someone sounds like a valley girl or not. Like, people like that need to grow up. Really grow up and figure out the world that you're living in. Make no mistake about it, when these white supremacists are gathering up, when they're making their plans, when they're attacking the Black Americans, they're not thinking about what you think or what shade of brown someone is or anything like that. That's you. That's you sitting there wasting time and being stupid. Like, stop getting off track to try to check some other Black person when you should be focused on the task at hand. We need unity to bring down white supremacist terrorism. You can worry about what color someone's socks are on a different day. But right now it's not. It's not time to play. Okay? It's not time to play dress up, to worry about whose hair is straight and whose hair is curly and who's wearing a weave. That's nonsense. It's asinine. Seriously. And I think you know it. If you're one of those people that are sitting there talking about whether someone's too light-skinned to talk about white supremacy, then you know you're wrong. You know that's not what you should be doing. That's not what you should be focusing on. You need to be focusing on stacking up some money, getting your concealed weapons permit, bringing the Black community together, not sitting there judging people for what they did 10, 15 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. It's not your job. It's not your job, and it's not beneficial to the Black community to do that. I don't care if my hair is straight. I don't care if I have a wig. I don't care if I have makeup on. I don't care if my teeth are white. I don't care if I speak like a valley girl. Who cares? I care that I'm doing my part to bring attention to this white supremacist terrorism. And that's what you should care about. You should look at yourself and wonder, what am I doing to help my community? Am I on here trying to speak to people, to educate them, and to have them look at what they're living through? That's what you need to ask yourself. Not, hey, does V have on, some pink lipstick or some synthetic hair? Those are distractions. Don't tell me if you were in the army and you're sitting there on the front line getting shot at, you're going to look around to your fellow soldiers and check out their hair. Ask them if they had some white friends. That's the wrong attitude. It really is. And it's not getting us anywhere. You need to focus on these white supremacist terrorists. That's what you need to focus on. And if all of us Black people were focused on that, if we were all focused on ending white supremacy, that's when we're going to get somewhere. That's when we're going to start seeing things happen. But as long as these white supremacists know that you're sitting there worrying about some Jordans, or worried about whether Becky up the street was dating a white dude, or I don't know, like I don't even know why you guys need to focus on such trivial things. If I have white friends or a white friend, that's because I've been around white people all my life. Lots and lots of white people. So I would think that would give me even more credit to talk about white supremacy. Wouldn't I have more experience than anybody else? If you're sitting up in a community where there's no white people, where are you getting your information from? From the TV, the media, the same TV and media that tells you who you are and how you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to dress? Because all of that ideology of what a black person is or should be or should sound like or should look like, you're getting from white supremacists. You didn't go to Africa. None of you who have all these negative views and have all these opinions on what a black person should look like and should be like, none of you have lived in Africa. You did not grow up in Africa and learn all the stuff that black people should do. Your lust for Jordans and freaking name brand clothes and Michael Kors purses, that's white supremacy. And that's what you need to realize. And instead of beating other people down, I'm not gonna beat a black dude down because he has on Jordans. I may try to educate him. I will tell him why black people should not support Jordans or Nike. But I'm not gonna say, you know what, since you have on those Jordans, you no longer can speak against white supremacy. You just can't. Those Jordans just, that was the line, and now you need to support white supremacy? I mean, what? Or just say nothing about it? Anybody and everybody should have a problem with white supremacy. Anybody and everybody should have a problem with white supremacist terrorism. Everybody should. White, black, Asian, freaking Mexican, all of you should have a problem with white supremacist terrorism because it's just that. It is terrorism. It is global terrorism. And you are focusing on whether or not I had a white ex-husband. What does that have to do with right now? Honestly, I don't think it has anything to do with anything. I can be married to 2,000 white men, and I'm still going to have a problem with white supremacist terrorism. I'm still going to speak out on it, and I'm still going to do what I can to break down the system of white supremacy. It doesn't matter if I sound like a valley girl. It doesn't matter if I had an ex-white or white ex-husband. What does that matter? You guys need to wake up and realize where we're at. We are at war. We are on the front line. This is not time to play games. This is not time to worry about how the next black person's hair is styled. Those are trivial things. Worry about those later. Worry about those when your life is not in danger. Because right now, every black American's life is in danger. And 10-4 if you're a black man. So if you're a black male and you are sitting here on the internet trolling videos and complaining that someone doesn't have their hair the way you think they should have it or their makeup, that is sad. That is sad, and you are lost. Because that is not going to save your life. Someone's hairstyle is not going to save your life. It is disgusting. Anybody should be speaking up against white supremacy, white terrorism. Everybody should be speaking up against it. We don't need to start dividing and deducting people and lowering our group. We need a big group. We need a large army. Stop picking people off. Stop telling other black people that they're not good enough. This is our agenda, all of our agenda. White supremacy affects the entire globe. I'm not joking when I say white supremacy is global terrorism. But you're not realizing that media is part of their tool. So when you're looking at people and you're telling them what they should look like, what are you basing that on? When you're telling people who they should or should not hang out with, what are you basing that on? I totally, my opinion, and I've told my ex-husband this. I do believe that 99.99999% of white people are white supremacists. But the sad thing is, a lot of black people are white supremacists. And those are the people that are judging other black people. If you feel the need to judge another black person that are trying to fight the same cause as you, then you need to think about whether you're a white supremacist, where you're getting your thoughts and your feelings and your opinions from. Where are they coming from? Because they could very well be coming from the white supremacists that we're supposed to be fighting against. There's no particular way that black women need to look, to dress, to do their hair, to do their makeup. We can do that whatever we want to. We can wear our hair however you want to, wear our makeup however you want to. Why do you care if we're out here trying to spread the words? We're out here trying to bring attention to white supremacist terrorism. We're out here trying to bring the black community together. And if you're sitting there trying to divide the black community by picking and choosing things that you think are wrong that they've done with their lives, then shame on you. Shame on you. We need to start saving our lives. We need to start bringing as many people we can to help fight white supremacy. And I know there's a lot of people that think, oh, well, white people can't talk about white supremacy, and mixed people they're mixed, so they can't be against white supremacy. Why would you not want them to be against white supremacy? I want everybody to be against white supremacist terrorism. I want white people, black people, cats, dogs, rats, bunnies, as much, whatever it takes to bring down white supremacist terrorism. That's who I want. Honestly, I don't care if you have a white boyfriend or a white girlfriend. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's detrimental. It can definitely be detrimental to the child that you decide to bring into this white supremacist world. But I'm not going to then look at that person and say you can no longer speak against white supremacy. Because why are you closing people's mouths that want to speak against white supremacist terrorism? Maybe you're a white supremacist. Because only white supremacists tries to put people in little boxes. This is what you should look like. This is what's white. What's white is right. And if you have a thin nose, then you're white. If you speak proper English, then you're being white. You need to flip that around. Flip it around and see what that's telling you. That's telling you black people don't speak proper English because they're not smart enough. So we need to look at what we're saying and what we're putting out there. Because I assure you, white supremacists are trolling these channels because they're obsessed with black people. They wouldn't know what to do without black people. So we can all try to pack up and go to Africa and good luck, because that's not going to happen. They'll kill us first. But while you're sitting there dividing up people up, these white supremacist terrorists are watching it and loving it. They're thinking, "Ooh, these black people are so stupid." And it seems like we are. We are if we are telling people that they're not black enough They're not, their hair isn't right. The way they speak isn't how you think it should be. You don't need to get rid of people. You need more people. There is not a large percentage of black people in America. I mean, newsflash if you thought that there was, but there isn't. So when we decide that we want to lock everybody else out, plus black people, if they've had white friends or if they have mixed children, then they're no longer good enough to fight in our cause. White supremacist terrorism is everybody's responsibility to get rid of, as far as I'm concerned. Everybody's. Because we're always sitting there talking about terrorism in the, you know, in Afghanistan or terrorism so anywhere else. We need to focus on terrorism right here. Right here. You are in war against terrorism. Get your mind in the game. Focus. Unite. Stop dividing. We don't need to divide anymore. We've been divided since we were stolen from Africa and brought into this country. The first thing they did was divide people. And now you're doing it for them. Now you're helping them. That makes us more vulnerable. Have whatever beliefs you want. You can have the belief that black people should never speak a word to a white person. You can have that belief, but don't tell that black person not to speak up against white supremacy. Because we don't need any more closed mouths. We need loud, open, tell it like it is, in white supremacy, fight the terrorists. Those are the mouths that we need. Stop talking about trivial stuff. To me, there's a whole grid of things that need to change, clearly, within the black community. Okay? But there's things that are on top, which are your livelihood. You have to be alive in order to, you know, speak against white supremacist terrorism. Or if you want to, whatever else you want to do, end interracial relationships, or you need to be alive to do that. You need to be alive if you want to hold classes on how black people should wear their hair. Put that on the back burner. Worry about it later. It's not that important right now. If you want to talk and march and pray against interracial children, do that. Right now is not the time. Right now is not the time. I mean, is it just me, or did you guys not notice that we have Trump as a president? Okay? Like, what do we think is going to happen right now? You need to be ready. You need to have your mind straight. You need to realize what's important. We need allies right now. Because if you think this last 4 years was something, with all the killings, all the slaughtering of black people, when white men can walk into a church and kill 9 black people and not get in trouble, he's not dead. What do you think is going to happen under Trump's presidency? Get your head in the game. Figure out what's important. If you're dead because some white supremacist rogue terrorist cop shot you, you're not going to be worried about whether I have a white ex-husband. You're not going to be worried about that because you're going to be dead. We don't have time for that. It's upsetting. It's very upsetting. And it's like, honestly, like, I don't care about people's opinion. Like, I really honestly don't care if people want to judge me for having an ex-white husband, a white ex-husband, or a white best friend. I don't care. Because that's not what's important to me. What's important to me is ending white supremacist terrorism. That's what's important. That's a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 10. That's what's important to me. I don't care who's doing it. I want it to end. That needs to be our goal, not beating each other down. We are supposed to be uniting, standing together. If you're against white supremacist terrorism, then I'm with you, because that's what I'm against. I'm done being terrorized by white people. But it's even sadder if I have to have these kind of discussions with black people. Like, it's just not important. I'm not going to talk about how short I cut my grass when my house is on fire. Do you see how asinine that would be? Like, priorities. White supremacist terrorism, me having a white best friend. Which one's more important? We need to get it together. Everyone can have their own opinions, have your own beliefs. I would never tell anyone to just believe what I believe. Never. I've been honest on every video that I've made about my beliefs and my feelings. But most importantly, I make videos to bring attention to white supremacist terrorism. That is my main goal. I will continue to do videos on relationships because I have a lot of experience and I have a lot of knowledge. But to look at someone and say, oh, because you can't think that white people are white supremacists because you dated a white guy. How can I not? Like, I'm telling you that I do, and I know me, so we need to get it together. We need to build, not break down. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you later.